Hey, your lucky day. Scott Walker coming to you from my store here in Anaheim, California. And the reason it's your lucky day is we have Damon VonSchweikert here.
Hi, guys.
And he's actually here for two reasons, but one reason is the reason we're shooting the video is we have the Ultra 11s.
Yes, we do.
In this store.
Uh-huh.
And I gotta be honest with you, man, people are floored by them. They trip out on just their physical prowess.
Right.
They walk in and go, holy shit, that is a speaker.
It's been a while since I've been around him.
Yeah.
And I got the smile on my face because, it's fun to be around him.
Yeah. One thing about the speaker that I've come to understand, because I'm learning about the speaker and fooling with it, is how adjustable it is.
That's the whole point of it.
It's
the core of our technology about.
You can adjust everything about it to your room.
To your room.
It's crazy.
It doesn't matter how flat a speaker is if it's not flat in your room.
You can adjust the tweeters, the super tweeters, the rear array of tweeters for the sort of backfill.
Yep.
The rear powered woofers independently.
Independently, that's the critical part.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You can lock them in.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So we were talking earlier about how your dad created a speaker in 2004, which was called the what?
The VR111. Oh, I'm sorry. The 2004 design, correct, was called the VR11.
VR11.
It's the precursor to the Ultra 11.
Yes. And by the way, I have a customer that has a pair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, and so that evolved eventually. You guys have been evolving that concept, that speaker,
21 years. Yeah.
into the Ultra 11.
Correct.
That's crazy. So
Well,
how much of the shared technology between the two speakers? A lot?
Quite a bit. I would say I would say a lot, except the difference is driver technology and materials.
Yeah.
Right? And also
Crossover network.
Crossover network and also signal path.
So everything's improved. You found better wiring,
right?
Better crossover components.
Right.
The drivers are better today.
Right. But
better material sciences, better materials inside.
Absolutely. But we still have our gain network that, we're integrating all these drivers, and you can stand 1 foot away and you don't hear individual drivers. You hear one voice, right? Yeah. And and then of course our ambient inverse replication, which you talked about on the back. And the idea of having subwoofers top and bottom that are independently adjustable, all that is based on the 11, the original VR11.
And the fact that you have mid-range and woofers
above
on top.
Once you hear, I always tell people, once you hear the mids and woofers above your head, that wave launch, that solid wave launch is, and it's not like it creates a bobblehead image or anything. No, everything is, as you would expect, proportionally, but you just have this wave launch that is...
It just paints a bigger picture.
It does, and it's more, I think, accurate.
So I told you this story. A customer came in a few days ago to hear a different speaker. And these are so big that we leave them in this room.
Right.
It's not practical to
get him in and out. I know.
So we were wrapping, and the guy saw them. I put them to the side, and I put a big cloth over them, just, whatever.
Right.
He goes, what are those? So I pulled out the cloth, and he was like, wow. And he goes, can I hear those? And I go, well, like $375,000. He goes, I don't have a budget. I said, oh, okay. Well, you don't have a budget? Great. So we popped them in. I already have them somewhat dialed in.
Right.
So we popped them in for the guy, just to let him hear them. Turned them on. And he had a couple of 6 or 8 tracks he had been playing on the previous speaker. So he was playing a couple of his tracks, and I'm sitting back thinking, these are pretty damn good. They sound pretty damn good. I look over at the guy, Damon, and he's crying like a baby. And I go, hey, are you all right? He goes, I just have never heard anything like this before. He said to me 2 things. He said, Scott, this speaker has changed my perception of music.
Right.
That's the first thing he told me.
I do understand that.
He's about early 70s, retired doctor. And he goes, I've been an audiophile for over 50 years. He goes, I've owned some extremely high-end gear. I own a bunch of gear now, and he said, this has changed my perspective on music.
I can completely relate. My dad's final design that he worked on before he retired was a one-off model that he did for a customer in the Philippines. We call it the VR111XS. It's a 4-tower system, and
So are you telling me it's like this, but with sub towers also?
yes, exactly.
Holy smokes.
And they were built for a custom room.
Yeah.
It's a giant room there, so the speakers are 10 feet tall. Yeah. But that's when I had my redefinition of what's possible. And, when I was there, I realized that it was, that we had to bring as much of that into a commercial product as possible. Yeah. And that's where we started with the Ultra 11. And we brought as much of that element into these, redefining that, again, that VR 11 into the Ultra 11. Yeah. And then we decided, back in 2017, we have to take this on the road. We have to show people what's possible.
And you did. Yeah.
We spent 7 years showing it.
I know, at trade shows, and people were tripping out, and you got best sound at show at every single trade show you went to with those. Yeah. Seriously.
That began so since 2017, we've earned over 100 best of shows. And
hold on, you guys, we do a lot of trade shows. I do 5 or 6 a year. And to get best sound at show,
you have to fight for it.
It's not easy.
No.
And when you get one, it's a big deal. You guys have gotten over 100 of them over the last 8 or 10 years.
Well, I always said we cheated because we brought...
Yeah, you brought a M50 to a BB gun fight.
Yeah, we did. It was a lot of work and it was a lot of money, but I knew that the best way to show people what's possible, like you said, that experience of redefining what you think is possible.
So what's crazy is, since you've come out with this speaker, there's a lot of the other sort of Uber brands out there that make big speakers.
Sure.
And
ours is relatively inexpensive.
That's the thing.
We didn't.
That's the thing.
We didn't. We don't know how to follow the trend. We are heads down. We have our own environment and ecosystem when we come to developing a product, and you can see it. Externally, you can see how much we invest in the material goods.
Well,
and then internally, I can tell you, it's equally as impressive.
In a minute, you guys, for the viewers out there in audio land, we're going to flip around and you're going to see the speaker we're talking about. Yeah. The piano black finish on this speaker is like a mirror. You can comb your hair in it.
It's black glass, yeah.
It's black glass.
Yeah.
There's no company that does that. And I've said that, I say that in every single video, blah, 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 blah.
You have to see it for yourself.
There's no company that does the finish that you guys do.
Thank you.
This is the piano finish, which looks amazing on this speaker.
Yes.
But is...
Tuxedo black
is so badass. Well, do you want to jump over there?
Yeah, let's do it, please.
So that people...
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, come on, you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 5'10" and a half.
Yeah, I'm a little guy, so I make it look bigger than it.
It's a lot of speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So real quick, let's just go through it and take it to talk about sort of what it is, and when we get it posted up on YouTube, people can check it out. And by the way, our intention is to have a pair here in California and my Texas stores. So if you ever want to hear this speaker, call us, and this pair will be floating between them until we get a second pair, which we'll commission you guys to build.
I'm looking forward to it. All right. Well, okay, so on the front, what you're going to see is we have a concentric array, right? Yep. Centered on a super tweeter.
Yep.
Dual beryllium tweeters.
Yep.
These are the ultra mid-ranges.
Yes.
This is the first model that utilizes these underhung magnet, wonderful transducers. And then, of course, our ceramic woofers. And like I said, when you get this array above your head, you get a equalized pressure top to bottom moving through the room, and it's.
And where I really hear that is in the sound stage, the spookiness.
It's all about sound stage.
The spookiness of the sound. You guys,
it's pinpoint.
You'll have somebody singing, Dinah Krall, whoever singing, and she is right in front of you. It paints this crazy sound field.
Well, I heard something new today for the first time. You played this Beatles recording on the tape, and you know, it's a lovely old recording, but I was blown away by the space between. I mean, it was odd.
So
because I had one up here and one back there. It was blowing my mind.
I told the gentleman that was here the other day I was talking about that was crying, I told him as we were getting him set up, I said to him, you're not going to be prepared to hear the silence between the notes. That's what is apparent with the speaker. When you're listening, you hear the music that's between the notes. And it clearly delineates all that. The other thing I told Josh, which is my manager in Texas, is I explained to him, he goes, well, what do they sound like? I said, you hear everything. Now,
micro detail.
Now you can hear a piano playing, okay, on even the VR30s, which we're going to put in shortly, which is amazing. Their new speakers is in a league of its own, okay, or any of their speakers, but you do not hear a piano. The reverb, the decay, the striking of the note,
the body of
the body, and all of that, you do not hear that like you hear it through this.
Yeah, I know.
We were listening to some classical music, and the violins, the shrieking of a violin, that grinding grunt that someone's really
the edge. I
mean, the hair on the back of your neck. Wong. And then after the gentleman left, another guy walked in to the store here, and he goes, wow. So I had something playing, and he stood there for 60 seconds and goes, I have goosebumps. That's what the guy said. He was not even sitting in the position he was over to.
You don't need to,
So it's a very special speaker. So it's a crazy speaker, as you can see. Yeah. It's very large, quite deep. You need a good-sized room. But the thing about the speaker that makes it special is you are not limited to the room.
Right.
You can dial in the speaker to your listening space, which is a game changer.
Right.
It's a game changer.
It's in most of our products. It's a core tenet is it doesn't matter how flat your speaker is if it's not flat in your room.
Yeah.
And so we're here to solve those problems.
Colby, come on over and take a pan up and down and show folks out there in Audio Land the side the gloss on the side, and then run around to the back. And Damon, if you can jump around the back here, and let's chat about the back real quick.
There's a whole another story to this product if you look at it from the back.
It's just a work of art.
Yeah, I don't know how much you can get in the camera.
It's an absolute work of art.
So we have dual 15 woofers. We have one on the top, one on the bottom.
Hold on, let me pause you. That is controlled by this plate, and there's two amplifiers inside this plate that drives those.
2,000 watt amplifiers.
Wow.
And it's all driven. Here's your control suite for the upper one and for the bottom one.
Separately,
and that's critical.
It
right?
sure is.
I mean, if you look at as you know, with our subs, we're all about integration. Having the ability to adjust phase is critical for integrating. You can. What's wonderful about this is you can reinforce or subtract as needed, and independently, top and bottom. I've had challenging spaces where we had different wall conditions for the bottom and the top, and we have to adjust for that.
I have them set differently in this room,
which is great.
Yeah.
And then this is the control suite in the VR11 and the VR9 and the VR7. Ultra 9, Ultra 11, Ultra 7. We love these auto formers. You can switch between 1 dB or half dB increments. And we have, as it says here, the two tweeters in the front here. This is the super tweeter in the front, and this is this ambient array, which has magnesium tweeters with this ribbon. And by adjusting this, we can get it level, and with the subs, we can get this very level in your room.
I'm running two sets of speaker cables on this speaker, which I try and run two separate pairs of speaker cables on all VonSchweikerts.
Right.
Can you explain for the folks out there in Audio Land why that's important? To a pair of VonSchweikerts?
Absolutely. Every one of our speakers, including our Model 1, the entry-level model, we incorporate, it's critical to isolate the driver networks, both physically and electrically from each other.
So what's interesting is, I don't know of another company that does that.
Yeah, I know.
So it's sort of one of your
we're
tricks
core
of the
tenets.
trade.
It's core tenet of our principle, because you're leaving a lot of performance on the table if you don't isolate the networks physically and electrically. You create a deeper sense of blackness. You capture more detail and microdynamics. And so distributed throughout this structure, you have your woofers, your mid, tweeter, all that stuff. Like I said, isolated. Now, by wiring, even if you have a stereo amplifier, it benefits to ground at the amplifier, right? Because it allows the amplifier to see these networks completely independently. This is the mid-range treble, and this is the woofers section. And so instead of seeing a homogeneous signal, it's able to efficiently feed those networks independently.
And then for those paying attention, I run a small set of speaker cables that drives the shockwave woofers in the back. That's,
in the back, of course, that's another
cheating.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in another video, but yes, we're all about, so that's all about, we're doing the wave launch here and we're making it as linear as possible, and then that's our room correction. We're capturing that wave and we're just equalizing the pressure so we don't have a standing wave in the room. So you're able to, and they adjust with amplitude, so it's always firing at the proper level.
When you have it dialed in, it's a revelation. People can't believe. They're like, I've never heard like this type of foundational bass.
It's so fast. It's so deep. It's so pure.
And it's just the heft, the weight, and the foundation of music. It's not that boom, 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 boom. It's just pressure.
No, it's
pressure.
Pressure.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, Colby, why don't you jump in front? Let us wrestle around the front of this so we can wrap up. Damon, it's always my pleasure. It's this absolute work of art, man. I've been waiting to get this speaker in, as you know. And by the way, on a side note, we have the Ultra 11 here in California. We have the Ultra 9 here in California. We have
which is basically this.
Yes. So it's this speaker and down. We have the Ultra 7 here. We have the Ultra 55 or
Ultra 5 now.
Ultra 5.
New nomenclature.
Actually, better name for it, frankly. Ultra 5.
It works with the thing.
We have most of the models from VonSchweikert, but we have all the Ultras. And so we can play them for anybody out there interested in the speaker. And don't know what to say. It's a game changer when you hear this speaker.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
As always, thank you very much. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Like I said, it's your lucky day to spend some time listening to Damon and on his beautiful creations here. Scott Walker Audio coming to you from our store here in Anaheim, California, connecting you to the moment.